Director Dr. Stephen Hahn, Director of the National Institute of Health, Dr. Francis Collins, Dr. Fauci, Dr. Birx. We're joined by a very terrific group of professionals. Tomorrow will mark 30 days since we released the White House guidelines for a safe and phased opening of America. That's what we're doing. It's the opening of America. We're going to have an amazing year next year. We're going to have a great transition into the fourth quarter.
Without you.
As of this morning, almost every state has taken steps to begin reopening, and the American people are doing an extraordinary job of continuing to take precautions while at the same time wanting to start, and they will be starting to resume their American way of life.
Last night he retweeted a guy in Florida who was at a restaurant where nobody was wearing masks or staying apart from each other.
We're going to be taking care of our most vulnerable, which are our senior citizens and some others. We're going to be working very, very hard on our senior citizens and our nursing homes and various communities to support those that are struggling in this very difficult time. Others don't have the same kind of struggle. For example, today, Secretary Perdue, together with Ivanka Trump, launched the Farmers and Families Food Box program, which will provide $3 billion to help small farmers. And it'll be helping farmers, ranchers, but it'll be bringing food to some of the food lines and some of the food kitchens that you've been seeing on television. And I said, why aren't we doing that? We have all of this tremendous food produced by our farmers and our ranchers. And so we're going to be buying $3 billion worth of that food. Great for everybody, our farmers, our ranchers, and the people that need great food. A key feature of our reopening plan is the largest and most ambitious testing system in the world, by far. America is now conducting close to 350,000 tests per day, an unthinkable number just a short while ago.
Not enough.
More than anybody in the world by far.
I can think of
states now have
7 trillion
excess
a day.
Testing capacity
That's thinkable.
To monitor for new outbreaks. Florida, many other states, they have so much testing. The testers are waiting for people to show up. It's great.
Yeah, because the standards are too high.
Pillar of our strategy to keep America open is the development of effective treatments and vaccines.
2 kids last week couldn't get tested.
I want to see if we can do that very quickly. We're looking to, when I say quickly, we're looking to get it by the end of the year if we can, maybe before. We're doing tremendously well. From the earliest days of the pandemic, we have marshaled the genius of American scientists and researchers.
I hope he's right, but it's never happened before.
And the private sector, from academia, from everywhere to vanquish the virus, and tremendous strides have been made.
Academia.
I get to see it every day. Tremendous strides are being made. Scientists at the NIH began developing the first vaccine candidate on January 11th. Think of that. Within hours of the virus's genetic code being posted online. So January 11th, most people never even heard what was going on January 11th, and we were out there trying to develop a vaccine, not even knowing what we were up against. Then
you had the genetic code.
Every piece of red tape to achieve the fastest ever by far launch of a vaccine trial for this new virus, this very vicious virus. And I want to thank all of the doctors and scientists and researchers involved, because they've never moved like this or never even close. The NIH and the HHS have also been working constantly with private industry to evaluate more than 100 potential treatments. The Food and Drug Administration has swiftly approved more than 130 therapies for active trials. That's what we have right now, 130. And another 450 are in the planning stages, and tremendous potential awaits. I think we're going to have some very interesting things to report in the not-too-distant future.
As Fauci says, it's a lot of shots on goal.
Thank you very much to Dr. Hahn. Through a historic series of funding bills, my administration is providing roughly $10 billion to support a medical research effort without parallel. I especially want to thank Senator Steve Daines of Montana for his incredible work.
Diamond Lynn, Kathleen,
to secure additional funding for vaccine development. He has been right at the forefront. Today, I want to update you on the next stage of this momentous medical initiative. It's called Operation Warp Speed. That means big and it means fast. A massive scientific, industrial,
Yeah, how do you get a vaccine against a hoax? Good point,
unlike
Bev.
anything our
Bev,
country has
I'm
seen
glad you're here.
since the Manhattan Project. You really could say that
I gave you the wrong
nobody's
email
seen
address
anything
yesterday.
like we're doing, whether it's ventilators or testing. Nobody's seen anything like we're doing now within our country since the Second World War. Incredible. Its objective is to finish developing and then to manufacture and distribute a proven coronavirus vaccine as fast as possible. Again, we'd love to see if we could do it prior to the end of the year. We think we're going to have some very good results coming out very quickly. In addition, it will continue accelerating the development of diagnostics and breakthrough therapies. The great national project will bring together the best of American industry and innovation, the full resources of the United States government, and the excellence and precision of the United States military. We have the military totally involved. We're also working very strongly with other countries who are also have some great scientists, doctors, and we're all working very closely together, and they're viewing us as the leader, and we are, the relationship with other countries on solving this problem has been incredible. To date, Operation Warp Speed has brought together all of the experts across the federal government from places like the NIH, CDC, FDA, and many other agencies. This historic partnership will now bring together the full resources of the Department of Health and Human Services with the Department of Defense, and we know what that means. That means the full power and strength of the military, and that really talking about the logistics. We get it when we get it. That means the logistics, getting it out so that everybody can take it. And today we're proud to announce the addition of two of the most highly respected, skilled professionals in our country, worldwide respected. Operation Warp Speed's chief scientist will be Dr. Mossef Slowy, a world-renowned immunologist who helped create 14 new vaccines.
Yep.
That's a lot of our new vaccines in 10 years during his time in the private sector. One of the most respected men in the world. In the
drinking word.
And really on the formulation.
If you're saying
of
strong,
vaccines.
Marcy, I'm going with strong. I like
Joining
it.
Dr. Slowy as chief
Strong
operating
or
officer
strongly.
will be General Gus Perna, a four-star general who currently oversees 190,000 service members, civilians, and contractors as commander of the U.S. Army Material Command. That means logistics. That means getting it out. We got to get it out there. So, General, thank you very much. And Doctor, thank you very much. It's great to have you on board.
You can see
Really
Fauci through my glass.
respected people. Thank you. These two outstanding individuals will provide more details following my remarks. In preparation for this initiative, experts throughout the government have been collaborating to evaluate roughly 100 vaccine candidates from all over the world. They have identified 14 that they believe are the most promising, and they're working to narrow that list still further. So we started off with over 100. We're down to 14, and we have some really interesting choices to be made. They're doing very well. Through Operation Warp Speed, the federal government is providing unprecedented support and resources to safely expedite the trials, moving on at record speed. While we accelerate the final phases of vaccine trials,
Put the needle on the record.
Operation Warp Speed will be simultaneously accelerating its manufacturing process. In other words, we're getting ready.
Thanks for the
So
super
that when
hard.
we get the good word that
Paul?
we have the vaccine, we have the formula, we have
Not sure what that
we
is, but
need,
thank you.
We're ready to go, as opposed to taking years to gear up. We're gearing up.
I think the
It's
drinking
risky,
word is strong or
it's
strongly.
expensive, but we'll be saving massive amounts of time. We'll be saving years if we do this properly, and that's what we're doing. So we're gearing up on the assumption that we'll have in the near future, relatively near future, a vaccine. Typically, pharmaceutical companies wait to manufacture a vaccine until it has received all of the regulatory approvals necessary, and this can delay vaccines availability to the public as much as a year and even more than that. However, our task is so urgent that under Operation Warp Speed, the federal
Thank you,
government
Aldous.
will invest in manufacturing.
I'm not sure what a
all
super
of the
heart
top
is, guys, but I love it.
vaccine
Thank you.
Candidates before they're approved, so we're knowing exactly what we're doing before they're approved. That means they better come
Hey,
up
YouTube, what's
with a good
up?
vaccine because we're ready to deliver it. This will eliminate any unnecessary delay and enable us to begin providing Americans with a proven vaccine the day our scientists say, we're ready, we got it. And as we work to bring critical medical production back to America, these vaccines will manufacture.
Man, I suck at that.
We're going to be focused on and manufacturing.
It's just
They're all going to be
looks
right
like
here
an
in the
inflamed
USA.
pancreatitis,
Now, we're working,
not
as I said, with other people
a
outside,
heart.
and
That's
that's fine too.
okay. It's fine too.
We want
Let's get back to Trump.
Get to the solution.
Super Heart
We
is
know
cash?
exactly where the other countries are. And,
Thank you.
We'll be very happy if they were able to do it.
That's,
we'll help them with delivery. We'll help them with in every way we can.
That's Periscope?
We have no ego when
You're
it comes
awesome.
to this. No ego whatsoever. Operation Warp Speed is also making the necessary preparations to distribute these life-saving treatments at scale. So we're talking about massive numbers so that millions of Americans will quickly have access to them. This includes ramping up production
330 of them.
supplies needed for distribution. And,
Thanks,
and I have to
thanks,
say,
Paul.
we're
Thanks,
also
Aldous.
very, very much involved
Here's
in
to you.
other things other than the vaccine. If you take a look at what we're doing beyond vaccines, it's going to be very interesting, and we may talk about that in a little while.
Oh God, he
This
could infect the
includes
whole
ramping up
audience in a
production
child.
of supplies needed for distribution, such as cold chain storage, glass vials,
Are there
needles,
people
syringes,
honking
and
on
more.
Pennsylvania
we'll have everything
Avenue?
right on hand, ready to go.
Can you guys hear that?
When a vaccine is ready, the U.S. government will deploy every plane,
Billion
truck, and
bucks,
soldier
thank you.
required to help distribute
That's
it
billion
to
with
the
a B.
American people as quickly as possible. America's blessed
Yeah, there's
to have the most brilliant, talented doctors and researchers anywhere
people
in
are
the world.
honking. I think
We have
protesters
the
are honking on
mightiest
Pennsylvania
military
Avenue
by
or
far in the
something.
world. Our military is completely rebuilt. Much of the equipment
Or
has been delivered.
supporting?
Some of it's on the way. All made right here in the USA. We took over very, very empty cupboards. I say medically. We also had empty cupboards in a military sense. Our
No.
military was in sad shape. It was depleted. We now have the strongest military the United States has ever had by far and the best equipment. And you hear that outside, that beautiful sound. Those are truckers that are with us all the way.
Oh, okay.
They're
So
protesting in favor of President Trump as opposed to against. There's hundreds of trucks
by
out there.
honking their horns
And
while he
that's
speaks.
the sign of love, not the sign of your typical protest. So I want to thank our
Next
great
time somebody
truckers.
honks at me
They
on
like
the
me
road,
and I like
I'll
them.
know
We're
that they
working on
love me.
something together. But we have the mightiest, and they'll be helping us with this.
When I
by
feel
the way,
lonely, I'm
speaking
just
of
going to cut
truckers.
people off. Just
We
head
have the
out and
mightiest military
slam
in
on
the
those
long
brakes in
history
front of a trucker.
Humankind, we have the best and most devoted workers ever to walk the face of the earth. And now we're combining all of these amazing strengths for the most aggressive vaccine project in history. There's never been a vaccine project anywhere in history like this.
Well,
And I just want to make something clear. It's very important. Vaccine or no vaccine, we're back. And we're starting the process. And in many cases, they don't have vaccines. And a virus or a flu comes, and you fight through it. We haven't seen anything like this in 100 and
with
some odd years,
90,000 dead people
1917.
fighting it.
But you fight through it.
No.
And people sometimes, I guess, we don't know exactly yet, but it looks like they become immune, or at least for a short
Or
while,
die.
maybe for life.
We do know that.
But you fight through it. But what we'd like to do, if we can, is the vaccine. I think we're going to be successful in doing it, and hopefully
Lynn,
by
hey,
the
guitar.
end of the year. Just as generations of Americans before us faced down the most difficult trials, set their sights on the highest summit, and overcame the biggest obstacles, America will meet the moment, and this moment specifically in our time, with unrivaled speed, unmatched skill, and the unyielding spirit of the American people. Our nation will come back stronger and greater than ever. We're going to have a tremendous year next year. We're going to
Without
have
you.
a really good fourth quarter. We're going to have a very interesting and productive transition quarter.
Let me know if the volume's
where
off,
Steve
guys.
is there, and I'm
Looks
sure
to be
our
balanced right now,
Secretary
but
of the Treasury,
if
I
I'm
think
way
you
too
feel the
loud,
same way,
I
Steve.
am
So-
way too loud.
and
Hold
thank
on, let
you
me
for
turn
your good
myself
work.
down.
Really good
Let
work.
me turn Trump off.
And it's not
Trump,
finished
Trump
yet,
off.
is it? I want to thank Steve Mnuchin and everybody.
Okay. Yeah?
Now I'd like to
Let me know.
ask
So I'm going to set the
Dr.
audio levels
Slowey
here.
and
Let me
General
know if
Perna
it's
to
bad.
come up and say a few words, followed by Secretary Azar.
I know, this could
and
be piped in.
Secretary Esper.
C-SPAN is piping in the
Thank
truck
you all
noise.
very much. We're doing something that has never been done before. It's
Well, we
going
haven't
to
had
result
to
in
do
a
this before.
tremendous end. I think we're going to come up with a solution to
It's
a
gonna be a
problem
tremendous
like
end for
this
a lot of
country
Americans.
probably has never seen before.
Well,
But it's an honor to be your president. We're doing a great job. These people are doing an incredible job. The people right here, I want to thank you all. Total professionals.
Even the press?
Great men, great women. Thank you all very much. Please.
you know, it's weird. There weren't a lot of chairs out there beforehand, so I don't know if the press is even there.
Thank you, Mr.
To
President.
ask questions.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a great honor and privilege for me to have the opportunity to serve our country and the world in this remarkable endeavor, extraordinary endeavor, helping them and supporting them do it.
So the doctors have masks.
Operation Warp Speed's objectives
Well, he's a doctor. Why doesn't he have a
are very
mask on?
clear. The President has described them, and I believe they are very credible. I also believe they are extremely challenging. However, I am really confident.
Why
that
didn't we
our
just
team
fight through
across
polio
many
and smallpox?
governmental agencies that are
Our parents
involved
were wimps.
in these efforts, the NIH, the CDC, the FDA,
Hey, Chris.
ASPR, and of course with the support of
Chris,
the
you can
Army
use something called Super
and
Hearts
our partners
on
in the
Periscope,
private,
and you can give me
sector,
your 38 cents
will
that
be
way.
able and will
Just
do
found
the
out.
utmost to deliver these objectives. In fact, Mr.
Ask Paul.
President, I have very recently seen early data from a clinical trial with a coronavirus vaccine. And these data made me feel even more confident that we will be able to deliver
see? All
a
this?
few 100 million doses
He gave me Super
of
Hearts.
vaccine by the end of 2020.
$1 billion worth.
And we will do the best we can to do that. Thank you. We will, of course, also focus on progressing and accelerating development of medicines for those who unfortunately already caught the virus, as well as optimize the diagnostic tests. This will be our focus 24/7 over the next many months. Thank you.
Yay.
Thank you.
Well, that's a cacophony.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. Thank you. Thank you for this great honor for allowing me to be a part of this team.
There you go, kids.
I'm very excited about this team. It will be
I'll just give you more
historic
Super Hearts.
as we
That's
execute the mission
$222
that's been
billion.
given to us. I also feel very confident.
soon as I cash those
that
in,
the
I'm
team
packing
will
up.
be able to provide the results as directed.
Gonna get on a plane
It
and head
is
to.
going to be a Herculean task, but the combination of the two main partners between Health and Human Services and the Department of Defense, their combined strengths, partnered with the other teammates, will ensure our success. One of the great advantages that we have as a military is our ability
That's
to
what you
do
want scientists to do,
logistical
Guitar,
and
is
sustainment
feel.
operations afar. We're just going to apply those capabilities to this mission.
Well, the
This
first thing I
mission
did
is
was
about
use my gut
defeating
feeling.
the enemy. We will defeat the enemy. Why? Because winning matters. And I'm excited to be a part of this team. And Mr. President, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We need a general. Every task force needs a
Well, thank you, Mr.
general.
President, for your leadership of
That's-
this
that's-
historic effort. Your vision for Operation Warp Speed, setting a goal of a vaccine by January 2021, will
back
be one
over
of the
here.
great scientific and humanitarian accomplishments in human history. Today, you're announcing the team that can get it done. Dr. Slowey is arguably the world's most experienced and successful vaccine developer.
I'm not gonna argue with
responsible
it.
for some of the major recent breakthroughs in
Who's
vaccines.
going to argue about that?
General Perna oversees
Hey,
one of the
Ramsey.
world's largest logistics and supply chain operations, the one that keeps the Army running.
Yeah, we can hear
Three
the truckers.
highly accomplished
At first we thought it was a
career
protest,
HHS
but they're
scientists will
protesting
oversee each
in
area
favor.
of Operation
That's
Warp Speed. Dr.
protesting
Peter Marks of FDA for
in favor.
vaccines,
Just let
Dr.
that
Janet
sink
Woodcock
in. Let the Englishing
of FDA
of
for
that.
therapeutics, and Dr. Bruce Tromberg of NIH for diagnostics. This is
He couldn't think of the
truly
word
a
for
dream
supporting.
team. We started work on each of these areas in January.
If
and
only he
Congress has
held,
provided nearly
I don't know,
$10 billion
big things with a lot of
explicitly for
people
this
in
kind of research and
stadiums,
development effort.
some sort of.
Operation Warp
If
Speed
only he
will
could
integrate
describe the
existing
truckers-
efforts that are coordinating vaccine, therapeutic, and countermeasure
I
development.
rarely can't think of the word
including
right now.
NIH's active
But there's gotta
and
be a word
RADx
for people-
initiatives. This week,
getting
HHS
together
and
and
DoD
showing
already
their
announced new contracts to
positive
manufacture
protesting.
hundreds of millions of needles and
he's
syringes
got the best
here
words.
in America for distributing an eventual vaccine. Finally, the President's efforts will ensure not only that
Terms
we
of
get vaccines,
service.
therapeutics, and
Well, then
diagnostics
use that.
faster,
That's new.
but that we get large donations of the eventual
You should be able to
products so
take
they're
your phone
affordable for the American people.
And take a picture
so thank
of
you,
it.
Mr. President,
You just
and
put
thank
your-
you to
put
all
your
of the
phone
American
camera on
scientists
and then
inventors at
see if it
HHS,
works.
at DoD, and elsewhere who are hard at work already. And I really want to express my personal appreciation
It'll
to
come back.
Secretary Esper and the Department of Defense, because this partnership is what's going to make this truly an historic endeavor.
Yeah, we're getting all sophist here. Yay!
Well, thank you, Mr. President, for your leadership
Three
of this
claps from
bold
Trump.
and historic initiative. The Department of Defense is very excited.
Okay, the
and
truckers are
committed
just annoying.
to working closely with our
I
partners
mean,
at HHS,
big trucker fan.
across the government,
Nothing
and in the
against
private
truckers.
sector to accomplish
But those
the mission
mother
we have
truckers
been
are-
given. Winning matters, and we will deliver by the end of this year a vaccine at scale to treat the American people and our partners abroad. You know, the Department of Defense has been in this fight since day one, going back to January. We've stayed ahead of the curve every step of the way, and today, on America's streets across the nation, over 60,000 service members from all branches of the service are still out there, whether it's doctors and nurses in hospitals.
I think the
whether
flags
it's
are
National Guard
multiplying.
on the
Every
streets
time
of
he gives a
America,
speech, there's more
or the Corps of
flags.
Engineers continue to build out capacity in America's hospitals. We are there, and we will be there, Mr. President.
That's
and we
not
look
applause.
forward to
They're
this next
protesting,
greatest
but in a
phase
positive
of
way.
this fight against
Oh,
the
there we go.
coronavirus.
See if this
We were
works.
all in then, we are all in now, and we will be
So,
all in the future. And we will
Camera
deliver
on
on
the code.
time, bringing the
Can't see
full
what I'm
weight
looking at. Here.
to bear the full weight of the Department of
Yeah.
Defense, all of our
It's
first-class,
too low.
world-class researchers and scientists, our ability to manage logistics
This is a
at scale,
tremendous success.
and our great distributional capabilities. We will deliver.
There.
We will win this
It's
fight.
gone now.
Mr. President, thank you again for all that you've done. We
I got
will
to
get
make
the
it stay
job
up
done.
there longer, I guess.
I know you will. I know you will. Any questions, please? Yeah, go ahead.
President, you said no vaccine. Vaccine or no vaccine, we're back. What did you mean by that?
We think we're going to have a vaccine in the
Vaccine or no
pretty
vaccine,
near
we're back.
future, and
What did you
if
mean?
we do, we're going to really be a big step ahead. And if we don't, we're going to
Barbara.
be like so many other cases where you had a problem come in, it'll go away at some point. It'll go away.
Without the
It
vaccine.
may flare up, and it may not flare up. We'll have to see what happens. But if it does flare up, we're going to put out the fire, and we'll
Without
put
the
it
vaccine,
out quickly and efficiently.
without a
We've
treatment.
learned a lot. Steve, do you have a question?
We've heard that the vaccine typically would take 12 to 18 months to develop. How can you do it in a speedier fashion? What makes you think this will work?
Well, they started actually, I guess you heard in January, early, and they've been working on it. I know so many, and private companies have been working on it. The government's been working on it. So we've got the time because we put and they've literally been working 24 hours.
Well,
a
we're
day.
having great deaths,
So
Qatar.
we've got the time, and we hope to be able to do something by the end of the year or shortly thereafter. But again, you know,
Yeah, it
it's
works.
not solely vaccine based.
Awesome.
Other things have never had a vaccine, and they go away. So I don't want people to think that this is all dependent on vaccine, but a vaccine would be a tremendous thing. And I will tell you, therapeutically,
like
or
the swine
therapeutics,
flu?
what's going
Dr.
on
Fauci
there
explained
is,
that that's not likely to happen,
equally as
but-
impressive. We have some things happening. You know, we have the remdesivir from Gilead. We
Remdesivir.
have other things that
Remdesivir.
are very good. I think that a lot is happening.
There's nothing else. There's just
therapeutically. I can't say that
remdesivir
it's,
right now.
relatively speaking, equal to what's going on with vaccines, but I think it's doing very well, very well. So therapeutics are a big factor.
Everything is
Is there
awesome.
a global competition to develop this vaccine? Like if France develops it first, will they share it with us?
Yeah, and we have that very well worked out. Whoever gets it is going to be very
There was a
proud to give it
conference
and-
with
and
everyone
develop it.
who
They've
was
developed
developing
it,
the
and we'll see
vaccine.
what happens.
U.S. didn't show.
We've got countries
Literally
that are allies.
didn't
that
even
are,
zoom
we
in.
have some countries, frankly, that aren't allies where we're working very closely together. So we're working together with many different countries. And again, we have no ego. We have no ego.
Yeah, the
Whoever
same way
gets it,
polio
we
went
think it's
away,
great. We're gonna work with
smallpox
them.
went
They're gonna
away,
work with us. Likewise,
measles went
if we
away.
get
They
it,
just
we're
go
gonna be
away.
working with
Diseases
them.
just Malaria,
So
the common
Very good
cold.
question, actually. Yeah, please.
All of these things
What do
don't
you say
exist
to those
anymore.
business owners and other people who are
Plaque.
really questioning the guidance that the CDC put out last night? There was a concern that it would be overly prescriptive. Now there's a concern it's not prescriptive enough. What are business owners to do?
Well, I thought the guidance was very good. I've heard very good reviews on the guidance, and you know the
People are
media will
giving the
never be
guidance reviews.
satisfied. If we gave you more description, that would be no good. If we gave you less, that would be no good. But I thought it was very good, and I've heard a
Description?
lot of good things. Go ahead, please, Green.
Do you have a problem or any concerns? Do you have any concerns about the Abbott test? Given
No
some of the
ego.
numbers that have come out about
No, Abbott's it's a great test. It's a very quick test. And,
It's
it can always
1/3
be very
failure right now
rapidly
on the Abbott
double-checked.
test.
If you're testing positive or negative, it can always be double-checked. But it's a very good test. Very portable, very quick. Okay.
Very portable, doesn't work, but you can carry it around.
develops the vaccine? What happens if it's China? Will the U.S. still have access to that vaccine?
I would say the answer to that would be yes. I would say the answer would be yes. Yes, go ahead, please.
Do you mean a fully approved vaccine for everyone?
Excuse me, you're going to have to remove it. You can't hear through you.
Do you mean a fully approved vaccine
I can
for the
hear her
entire general public, or a
through the
partially
headphones
approved
over the
vaccine
trucker,
for
and
emergency
Trump can't hear her with the mask on.
Oh, sorry. Let me step near the mic.
You want me to-
Sorry, let me repeat that. Now I'm closer to the mic. Do you
There we
mean
go.
a fully approved vaccine for everyone, the full public, or a partially approved vaccine with emergency use?
No, we're looking for a full vaccine for everyone that wants to get it. Not everybody's going to want to get it. But we're looking at a full vaccine. Is that a correct statement?
Yeah, we'll.
We're not going to make it mandatory for the
yes,
kids?
We're working for a fully approved vaccine, but we'll also use the tools we have.
Actually,
for instance, emergency use
if some people don't want the
authorization,
vaccine,
as appropriate.
I'm all right with
We
that.
use all of our regulatory tools to bring vaccine available for the entire American population by January.
Okay, and then Mr. President, could you just clarify, why are some of you wearing a mask and why are some of you not wearing a mask?
It's a good question. I
We've
think
all been
Caitlin.
tested. I've been tested. We've all been tested, and we're quite a distance away, and we're outdoors. So I told them, I gave them the option. They could wear it or not. So you can blame it on me, but I gave them the option. We could wear it or not. Yeah, please.
So the president gets to decide science.
Would a U.S. vaccine be available to the rest of the world at an affordable rate, at a low cost?
The last thing anybody's looking for is profit in terms of what we're doing. Every company, they want to get it out. We've had that. We've had a great experience on Remdesivir. We've had a great experience on everything we've done.
Remdesivir.
People are looking to come up with the answer. They're not looking in, typically they're saying, oh, how much
This
am I
is
going
the
to make?
truckers
How much?
showing support
They really
for Trump
have been.
is
There's
the
been a
honking.
great spirit on this. They want to get to the bottom of it, and I think we'll be able to do that.
President, the Indian American community is appreciating your help in fighting the vaccine coronavirus. What is your message to those 4 million Indian Americans here?
So India has been so great, and as you know, your prime minister has been a very good friend of mine. I just got back a short while ago from India recently, and we're working very much with India too. And we have a tremendous Indian population in the United States, and
Touch your face.
many of the people that you're talking about are working on the vaccine too. Great scientists and researchers. Yeah, we're working very closely also with India. Correct.
And
say
your
hello
message to them?
your prime minister.
Oh, say hello to the prime minister.
Yeah,
That's his
please, go
message
ahead.
for the Indian
Thank
people
you, Mr.
living in the
President.
United States.
What steps, if any, is your administration taking to ensure
Say
that
hi to your mother for
communities
me.
and the states that are hardest hit will have first access to the vaccine? Have these discussions been had, or are there any plans?
Yeah, I think we've done a good job with that. Certain areas have been hit very hard, New York, New Jersey, et cetera, working very closely with the governors. We've worked with all of the governors. We've made a lot of people look very good with what we've done on ventilators, with what we've done on testing. We're working with all of
Touch
the
your
governors.
face.
We just sent a big transit
Stick it
package
right up
to
your
New
nose.
Jersey. I just spoke
Give yourself a
to
swab.
the governor of New Jersey.
Do it.
who's
Yeah, there you go.
a
They
terrific
make sure to
person,
get
by the
both
way, I
hands
have
smart.
to tell you, and I just told him a lot
That's
of money's
sciencing
coming your
right
way
there.
for the transit, and also I spoke with the governor of New York, Governor Cuomo. We just had a conversation yesterday. We're sending them a lot of transportation money, so it's important. But we've had a very good relationship working with all of the states, regardless, all of the states. And if we do get fortunate enough, and I think we're skilled enough, but fortunate enough to have a vaccine, it'll get out fairly and quickly.
Do you foresee that states that are hardest hit will have first dibs? So will like New York and New Jersey have?
I think that makes sense, perhaps. Perhaps it does, but I
That's
would
a
say
long way
probably.
away.
But I think they're all going to get well distributed. You know, if you remember when we started, we had no
Yeah,
ventilators.
I think that's the first time we had 13,000 ventilators.
We became a very major manufacturer of ventilators. Now we're helping countries all over the world with ventilators. We're sending them to many countries all over the world. When we started, we didn't have ventilators. I inherited nothing.
13,000 ventilators.
Practically nothing from
which
the previous
is actually enough for what we've needed.
Unfortunately. Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. President, it's been 3 months since you signed the China trade deal. Between what's happened with coronavirus and the lagging agricultural purchases, are you at any point considering reimposing additional tariffs on China or tearing up the deal in any other way?
Well, I don't want to talk about it. I can say China is buying a lot of our product. But the trade deal, the ink was barely dry when this came in from China. So it's not like we're thrilled. Okay, go ahead, please.
Mr. President, can I ask one more?
Thanks, Kamika.
I'm wondering if you're standing by the nomination of Michael Pack to lead Voice of America after news that the D.C. Attorney General is...
Well, I don't know what happened. I know that Voice of America is run in a terrible manner. Terrible. They're not the Voice of America.
Yeah, he's had 3 years to fill the empty stockpile that wasn't empty.
And we have a man
You're
who's very
absolutely right,
good.
Tracy.
I don't know. He's in the nominating process, but I'll have to check that out. Yeah, please.
At least we're building ventilators now.
If public confidence is the main thing of getting people back to work and back to schools and so on, is this even possible without a vaccine? How would it be possible without a vaccine? Public confidence.
Well, I think a very big factor, frankly, is that very few people are, you know, we read about all of the very sad, very tragic. I've lost friends. Many of us have lost friends.
One sentence. Finish
we read
one
about
sentence.
that, and we see that, and that's what the news covers. But a very, very small. That's a very small percentage. It's a very, very small percentage. I say it all the time. It's a tiny percentage. The vast majority, many people don't even know they have it. They have it, or they have sniffles, or they have a very minor sign.
What was
and
the
they
question?
recover, not only recover, they probably have immunity, whether it's short-term, long-term, but they have probably immunity. And I think people have to understand that. That's why I think the schools should be back in the fall.
At some point, Fauci's just going to step forward and just
bang
across the back of the head.
70-year-old teachers back.
Look at Fauci.
Yet
We
they
get out of
should
the way.
wait
There he is.
until everything is gone.
Oh,
I don't
God.
think you should have a professor
What have
that's
I done?
65 and has diabetes or has a bad heart back necessarily, or somebody that's older than that. But we want to see our schools back. We want to see our country start
Does he know
to
the
work
retirement
again.
age
We
is
created
typically
the greatest
65?
economy in the history of the world.
We did not.
And we're going to do it
We
again.
had 2.1%
And you're gonna see
GDP.
that next year, and it's going to start. You'll start to see it in the fourth
Under
quarter,
Biden.
maybe even before that. Yeah.
Are you at all concerned about children or teachers
No.
who are in the school bringing it home to their families, to their spouses?
I'm concerned about everything, and I'm also concerned about our country. Our country has to get back.
You know, the
And,
country has
what
people
you're
in
talking
it.
Is when you are doing what we did with the shutdown, that causes death also. It causes massive depression. It causes drugs. It causes suicide. It causes a lot of problems also. No, our country
Not
has to get back to
90,000
work
of them.
again.
Not
and you
even
see
close.
that just looking and reading everything that's happening. Our people want to get back. They want to get back. Yeah.
Sir, do you have a plan to prevent the spread if you reopen?
We
the
do.
school?
We do. We have a great plan to prevent the spread, but that doesn't mean we're going to close our country for 5 years. Okay, not
Okay,
going to happen.
what's the plan,
Go
though?
ahead.
The current death toll is about 86,000.
Is that Caitlin again?
At current, it's about 86,000. Yes.
Do you think that's accurate, or do you think it's higher than that?
I
Well, it's
don't,
not
or
5
lower
million,
than that. I don't
so-
know. I don't know. Those are the numbers that are being reported. I assume they're correct. Unlike other countries, I mean, you have some countries, obviously, you have some that are very obviously ridiculous, but our numbers are accurate numbers. We don't do anything with the numbers one way or the other.
They
Whatever it
actually,
is,
the
that's
sound
what we
guys
do. We
actually
take
pump up the
numbers
volume
as
on the
reported.
reporters, so that
Okay?
also increases the noise from the trucks.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. If they were, I'd be very happy if they were lower. I'd like to see numbers lower. I'd like to see no death at all. One death is too many. This should have never happened. This came from China. It should have been stopped in China
Should have
before
been
it got
stopped
out to the world.
by
We have
testing.
186. It's been updated this morning.
No,
186.
it's been 187
countries are
for
affected. And each
2-3
country that's
weeks.
affected is the same thing. Russia now is badly affected. France is badly affected. You look
South
at what
Korea.
each country, and you can say
256
affected,
deaths.
or you can say infected. Either way you want to put it. But you look at these countries, look at Italy, and you look at Spain,
Affected
and you look at
or
all of
infected.
these great countries in many cases, how they've
Affected.
how they've had to fight through this. It's a terrible thing that happened. It could have been stopped at the source. It should have been stopped right at the source, but it wasn't. Thank you all very much. We appreciate it. Thank you.
That's it.
Thank you.
Well, at least he didn't run off in a tantrum. I hate this house! So let me catch up on the chat here. You guys are a little bit behind. Yeah, Sarah Cooper's hilarious. I've started following her. She's getting huge. Yeah, how to do many tests. Sarah's fantastic. Okay, so a little later on at noon Western time, which is 3 p.m. Eastern, which is what, 8 o'clock GMT? I don't know. European people tell me. I'm going to cover the interview he did with Maria Bartiromo yesterday on Fox Business, and it's almost an hour-long interview. Oh, wait. 2 p.m. Eastern. Scratch that. We may do that. We may not. So at 2 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock, we'll cover the Kayleigh McEnany thing. So come back and chat with that. If you want to support me, that's one way right there. You can just scan that or just go to paypal.me/KevinlyDad. It's quicker for you to type, and KevinlyFather was taken. Or just go to KevinlyFather.com and you become a patron there. And then you'll get your name on stuff like this. Just before the president started speaking, I was working on a credit roll, so we'll have like the credits fading in and out, so you'll get your name on there too. Oh, hey, David Williams. That's Kevinly brother. Yeah, I think they actually just turned down the volume on the. So there's ambient mics, and then there's the mic on the president's podium, which is a directional mic, which will pick up things sort of in a it's called a cardioid pattern, like a heart-shaped pattern. Oh, you know all about cardio. And that mic stays on, but then there's other ambient mics set up around, and they shut those down because they know the president's about to say goodbye. And the horns probably are still going on. The truckers are probably having a great time with that. So I'm all in favor of truckers. Some truckers support Trump. Some truckers do not support Trump. Okay. Yeah, no, exactly. Why was Fauci there? Why was Dr. Scarf there? Good point, Bev. Let's see. Yeah, so Facebook, David, is a little bit delayed compared to YouTube. So if you watch me on YouTube, youtube.com/KevinlyFather, that's the chat that comes up quicker. That's only delayed about 10 minutes. But I know you're working, David, so you can't watch many of these. So we'll cover Kayleigh McEnany at 11 o'clock Pacific, which is 2 p.m. Eastern, which is 7 p.m. GMT. Who's in here from the European theater? Remdesivir. Oh, I have that. Hold on. Before we go, I'll play you guys out with Remdesivir. I've got it here somewhere. This is one of my favorites. This is one of his greatest hits right here. All right. I will see you guys at 11 p.m. Pacific time. You guys be good to each other and enjoy.
There are promising therapies produced by Gilead, and that's
Remdesivir.
There are promising therapies produced by Gilead, and that's
Remdesivir.
We're also studying this and other promising therapies, which is a therapy produced by Gilead, and that would be it's called Remdesivir. The ones that I mentioned are very good, but especially I think if you look at Remdesivir, the first mention could be a absolute total game changer.